The American salesman and motivational speaker Zig Ziglar once said that money was as important as oxygen. While money may not buy happiness, being broke can certainly lead to misery. Despite knowing how to manage money in theory, people often fall into bad financial habits. This is because they don't pay attention to why they spend money the way they do. By reflecting on their behavior, beliefs, and relationship with money, people can better handle their personal finances. In this video, viewers will learn how their childhood affects their view of finance, the importance of defining their dreams to save money, and how to confront their financial fears. Chapter 1. Meet Amanda, the shopping enthusiast. Her love for shopping turned into a major problem as she struggled to keep up with her spending. After seeking help, she discovered that her behavior was a reaction to her frugal parents who saved everything. But Amanda's story isn't unique. Our childhood experiences shape our relationship with money, and it's crucial to understand how it impacts our financial decisions. According to Henry Cloud, how you're glued together has everything to do with how you spend your money. That's where the money classroom comes in. As children, we learn about money in two ways, through verbal and emotional communication. Some households have open discussions about money, while others don't. Emotional communication can be positive or negative, which creates distinctive classrooms. But understanding these variables can help you explore your relationship with money and make better financial choices. In this video, viewers will learn about 3 common types of classrooms and the challenges that come with growing up in them. Get to the root of your financial behavior and take control of your finances today. Chapter 2. As Cruze listened to her friend's story, memories of her own childhood came flooding back. She had grown up in a similar environment where money was always tight and discussing finances was considered taboo. But as an adult, she had learned the importance of being open and transparent about money. She realized that her fear of talking about it had only made things worse. And as she thought about it more, she began to wonder how many others were struggling with the same issue. Cruze decided to do something about it. She started a blog where she shared her own experiences and encouraged others to open up about their financial struggles. To her surprise, the response was overwhelming. People from all over the world shared their stories and offered support to one another. And through this community, Cruze realized that talking about money doesn't have to be scary. In fact, it can be empowering. As she continued to write and connect with others, Cruze began to see a shift in her own relationship with money. She no longer felt ashamed or embarrassed about her financial situation. Instead, she felt empowered and in control. And as she looked back on her childhood, she realized that her parents had done the best they could with the resources they had. But now, she had the tools and the community to build a better financial future for herself and her family. Chapter 3. In some households, money is a taboo subject, while in others, it's constantly fought over. The latter can be damaging to a child's relationship with money, leaving them feeling powerless in the face of instability and chaos. Take the example of one of the author's friends, whose parents were short-tempered and often fought about money. When times were good, they spent freely, but when times were bad, there was no money for luxuries. As a result, the friend grew up feeling apathetic about money, wondering what the point was in trying to manage it. But it doesn't have to be that way. Taking control can lead to real improvements. Chapter 4. Growing up in a household where financial instability was the norm can leave a lasting impact on a child's relationship with money. In the unstable classroom, parents openly air their grievances about finances, but there are no solutions in sight. Children in this environment may feel powerless and apathetic about money, leading to avoidance of the subject altogether. However, taking control of one's finances can lead to positive change, even for those who grew up in the unstable classroom. Chapter 5. As Sarah scrolled through her bank account, her heart raced with fear. There wasn't much left. She had been living paycheck to paycheck for years, but lately, things had gotten tighter. The pandemic had made finding work difficult, and her car had broken down, leaving her with a hefty repair bill. She couldn't afford to take any time off, but she also couldn't afford to fix the car. And now she was one missed paycheck away from financial ruin. The fear was paralyzing. She couldn't focus on anything else, not even her job. Her boss had noticed a decline in her productivity and had called her in for a meeting. She tried to explain her situation, but he didn't seem to care. All he wanted was results, and she wasn't delivering. That's when Sarah decided enough was enough. She couldn't keep living in fear like this. She needed to take control of her finances. She started by creating an emergency fund, saving up $1,000 for unexpected expenses. It wasn't easy, but she cut back on unnecessary expenses, worked extra hours, and even sold some of her belongings. And it paid off. When her car broke down again a few months later, she was able to pay for the repairs without worrying about how she would make rent that month. The fear hadn't disappeared entirely, but it was manageable now. She felt empowered, like she could handle anything life threw her way. Fear was still a part of her life, but it no longer controlled her. She had learned that being prepared was the best defense against financial anxiety. And with her emergency fund, she was ready for whatever came next. Chapter 6. As a struggling single mother, Maria was drowning in debt with no way out. She had tried everything to pay off her loans, but nothing seemed to work. That's when she heard about the snowball method from a friend and decided to give it a try. It wasn't easy, but she took on extra work and made small sacrifices to pay off her smallest debt first. As she continued, the weight of her debt lifted and her momentum grew. With each debt she paid off, Maria gained more confidence and control over her finances. And soon, she was debt-free and on her way to financial freedom. Chapter 7. As the New York Times article gained traction, a shadowy figure took notice. He was a social media influencer with a vast network of followers, and he had a plan. He would use his influence to promote luxury lifestyles and convince his followers to buy into the dream. The influencer's scheme worked like a charm. People began maxing out their credit cards and taking out loans to finance their new, expensive lifestyles. They wanted to keep up with the influencer's luxurious posts and felt like they were missing out if they didn't have the same things he did. But as the debt piled up, the influencer's followers began to realize they had been tricked. They weren't happy, and their new possessions hadn't brought them the fulfillment they thought they would. They were left with nothing but mounting debt and a feeling of emptiness. As the influencer's empire began to crumble, he disappeared without a trace. Rumors swirled about his whereabouts and his true intentions, but no one knew for sure. Years later, the groom from the New York Times article stumbled upon a familiar face on social media. It was the influencer, and he was back with a new scheme. This time, he was preaching the virtues of minimalism and frugality, promising happiness through simplicity. The groom couldn't help but wonder if the influencer had truly turned over a new leaf, or if he was just trying to pull another fast one. Only time would tell. Chapter 8. Emily had always been a big spender, often buying things she couldn't afford with her credit card. It was all about instant gratification for her, and she never really thought about the consequences of her actions. That is, until she met Jack. Jack was a penny pincher, and Emily couldn't believe how strict he was with his money. He never spent more than he had to, and he never wasted a single cent. At first, Emily found it annoying, but eventually, she started to see the value in his approach. Together, they learned to find a balance between their two extremes. Emily started to become more mindful of her spending, and Jack learned to loosen up a little. They found that they were able to save money without sacrificing their happiness or their relationship. But one day, Emily made a mistake. She booked a vacation that was way out of their budget without consulting Jack. When he found out, he was furious. They had a huge fight, and Emily realized that she had to make things right. She canceled the vacation and sat down with Jack to come up with a plan to pay off her credit card debt. It wasn't easy, but they worked together and eventually paid off all of Emily's debt. They also started saving for a future vacation, one that was within their budget. Through their journey, Emily and Jack learned that mistakes with money are inevitable, but it's how you handle them that matters. By finding a balance and working together, they were able to overcome their differences and build a stronger, healthier relationship with their finances. Chapter 9. Saving for the future is often seen as a burden, but it's actually a source of joy as it allows you to pursue the goals you cherish. Connecting saving to your dreams can provide the motivation you need. By breaking down your dreams into achievable steps and setting a realistic savings target, you can create a plan to make them a reality. Saving is a form of freedom that enables you to pursue your passions and goals. So start saving now and turn your dreams into a reality. Summary. The video highlights how childhood experiences with money shape our spending habits and financial mindset. However, regardless of our financial background, we can take control of our finances by creating an emergency fund, analyzing our spending habits, and connecting our finances to our dreams. By taking these steps, we can overcome our financial fears and achieve financial stability. Now, the insights and knowledge I gained from reading Know Yourself, Know Your Money were phenomenal. I highly recommend it. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and if you found value in this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more great content. Trust me, you won't regret it.